the name of our circle is Entertaining Travelers. If everyone knows, the organization aim of the whole organization is 120 people on Mars. In our circle, the idea is to entertain travelers during the whole trip, which should be 9 months, to keep peace, health, and increase connection and confidence in the project. The proposal I'm putting forward was thought by a upper circle, and they suggested us that this circle, we should put a mandatory soccer Mars Cup for everyone older than 100-year-olds. So do we have clarifying questions on that proposal? Eva, then Sanket, then Cyrus, then Abby.
No, I don't have any.
Sanket, any clarifying questions?
No clarifying questions.
Okay, Cyrus?
Are we talking about having age group divisions or other divisions, or everyone playing in the same league?
If I remember correctly, the idea was to keep people in separate group ages, but we can decide on that. So the idea was below 17 and above 17, separating males and females in different categories. So I think that was the idea, but we can decide on that. Do you have any clarifying questions? Any other clarifying questions, Cyrus?
Check.
No? Okay. So Abby?
What about the under 11s? Is there another plan for them?
So far, the decision was that they were too young for this specific competition, so no plan for them. The idea here is just to talk about the above 11 and trying to find with a policy. But I think there will be another proposal later on to talk under 11-year-old. So we move on to reaction round. Eva, any reactions to the proposal?
Yeah, I'm perfectly happy with the proposal, except that it's mandatory, and I feel quite strongly that it shouldn't be. That check.
Okay, Sanket, any reactions to the proposal?
Is the same as Eva. I believe this shouldn't be mandatory.
Cyrus?
The same about mandatory. Check.
Abby?
Yeah, agree with the mandatory thing. Also, dislike the competitive element of it for promoting health and well-being. Check.
Is to reduce the intense spices like anise by 50% and add 20% sugar to every recipe to adjust to US taste. So first of all, just get my screen back so I can see you people. Ooh, where's it gone? Oh, hang on. Oh, there. Sorry.
Okay, I'll just explain why the mandatory from our both circle. As everyone, most of the trip will be asleep, and they need to recover body fluids and everything because the trip is in the speed of light, so it's kind of tricky. So the idea of mandatory is that everyone wakes up, play a little bit for their vitals to be up. If, for example, someone decided not to play, there's a big risk of death. So the idea is that everyone plays because they need to, in order for their bodies to work. So that's why it's mandatory, because if one decide, to be honest, I'm not bothered, I'm just gonna stay here too cozy and just wanna feel like asleep, they could die. So just explaining a little bit the proposal. I'll go through another round of reactions after that because that didn't came up in the clarify question. So just having that more information, we'll go through the reaction rounds again. So Eva.
Yeah, that does put a little bit of a different spin on it. I guess if it has to be mandatory because otherwise you'll die, that is fair enough, in which case I would like a bit more choice. So I think that if we had some system where, you know, people who like doing similar things were absolutely forced to get together and do them, then I'd be happy with that. Check.
Yeah. My previous order was, I think, Sanket and then Cyrus.
I believe in this case we can choose another. We can select another esports for people who doesn't like football, because it's mandatory for football, and as we have this healthy issue, so can try another option of sports.
Yep. Cyrus, any reactions?
Yeah, I think the risk of death handles my objection for that. And I also support Sanket's suggestion that maybe something as an alternative to football. Thank you. Check.
Abby, reactions?
Yeah, I think what everyone said, some other non-football related options to avoid death would be great. And I'm really hoping the under 11s are going to have a plan, or anyway, check.
Okay, so the new proposal, hearing what everyone is saying, is that we're going to give options, because we can't give unlimited number of options, because some of the crew need to organize and get the games prepared. So we need to find a list of games. So I propose that we do soccer, volley, basketball, mini golf, and another one that you can choose, but it's simple. Which one?
Can we do yoga?
Yoga. Yeah, so we have those 5 as options, but you have to pick one, right? And Ted mentioned that we need to explain the rationale for everyone to understand why it's mandatory, because otherwise they will have the same concern as the group and say, why is mandatory? But once they decided to go into Mars, I think they're concerned with healthy and things. They did a weird choice. But anyway, so the proposal is that people have 5 different choices, but they need to do, is mandatory to do one of them, and then they can go back to sleep. Do we have clarifying questions on this proposal? Eva?
Yes, I do have I have something to say, but it's not a clarifying question. So
Okay. Then Sanket, any clarifying questions on that new proposal?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I get it. We are going to decide on the sports we are going to offer, or the people in the spaceship are going to decide between these 5 alternatives?
So quickly answering your question is the idea is that we have 5 different options, because we can't give infinite number of options, because we need to organize those options. So we're giving 5 options, and then people wake up and they can decide which one of those 5 they can participate.
Okay.
Okay. Then Cyrus, do you have a clarified question on the proposal?
No, no clarifying questions. Check.
Okay, Abby, do you have a clarifying question?
Are we going to share these options with people before they take the trip, just in case, lack of affinity with volleyball or death or something changes someone's mind?
Okay. So we'll make sure that people know about it prior to going to the trip. Ted, any clarifying questions? So moving forward to reaction round. Eva, any reactions to the new proposal?
yes, I like the proposal, but I would really like it if we would include the under 11s in the proposal in some way. So just take the age restriction out for me.
Okay. Sanket, do you have a reaction to the proposal?
No.
Cyrus, do you have a reaction to the proposal?
No.
Abby, reactions?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're catering for a wide array of abilities and needs. I suppose my reaction would be that if there was a choice of activities, and we've said there's 5, perhaps we don't have to award any kind of cup. It's just the taking part that counts.
Okay, so I propose we go through consent round on that. knowing that the next thing we're going to do as a group is to make a decision about the under 11. If everyone is okay with doing that decision next, then we close this decision with a consent round. So I'd like to propose a consent round with the idea of 5 different sports that people have to do at least one when they wake up during the trip, and that is the proposal. Eva, can you consent to that? Sanket?
I consent.
Okay. Yeah. Cyrus?
I consent.
Abby?
Yep, consent.
I consent as well. So we have a new rule, a new proposal approved, which is 5 sports. It's mandatory, so people don't die. And the next agenda item is talking about the under 11, which we'll not do. But if we were a group, we would do.